This is Julien, and I'm here in Boston, Massachusetts, and what I want to talk about today are the 3 false pursuits when it comes to self-actualization. When you hear, you can better yourself as a person, when you embark on this journey of, changing who you are, having control over who you are, and creating a life of your own design, you think that you're pursuing that. It's like, this is my goal, when in reality, your mind's gonna play tricks on you. You probably heard this, human beings are creatures of habit, or you just start buying into the wrong things. And what I'm gonna list out here are the 3, big seductive pitfalls, if you will, that people fall into. And if you identify yourself, with one of these, be sure to just quickly cut it off right fucking now. So the first one, and this is something that, once again, a lot of people fall into, is you think you're pursuing, again, this journey of bettering yourself as a person, of expanding and transcending who you are, when in reality, if you really sit down and think about it, what are you pursuing? Basically remaining the same, in different ways that you can remain the same. And this one here is very subtle, but yet very fucking vicious. So let's just say you find out, about the fact that you can better yourself as a person. You don't have to remain who you are here today. Understanding that is very liberating. However, what does it also, entail? A lot of emotional trauma. Like, you changing who you are isn't something that's very easy to do. In fact, it's the hardest thing you're ever going to do in your life. And you may tell yourself, like, oh, of course I want to better myself. I want to change my life. I want all this. Bullshit. If you did, you would experience all this resistance and fear when it comes to doing so. Now why do you experience that? Basically, once again, human beings are creatures of habit, and we are scared shitless of the unknown. It's like our biggest fear, even more than death. We don't fear death itself. We fear, what happens after that death, which we don't fucking know, anything about it. We're like, oh, we don't know what's gonna happen. That's what we're afraid of. We're afraid of trying new things because we don't know, what'll happen when we do those new things. And, you can learn to love it, as I call it, develop a perverted pleasure in the pain of just, expanding, like letting go of your identity, letting go of your assumptions, of who you are and of the world around you. But it is a fucking grind, And a lot of people just can't cope with it. And what they try to do is they're like, okay, this is way too hard. Let me go back to how I was before. But what you have to realize is that going back to how you were before doesn't work. Why? Because you've seen behind the fucking curtain. If you don't do this, you could be better, but you don't work on becoming better, that little feeling, of just like, oh, I'm fucking up, is gonna burn you to fucking death. You're always gonna know deep down inside that you could be better, but you're not. You can try to rationalize your way out of it, lose yourself in distractions and external stimulus, but again, in your gut, you'll know. And funny enough, what a lot of people do is they realize this, like, oh shit, I can't really go back, but going forward sucks too. And they kind of, to help them, let's just say, with the rationalizations, they start moving forward a little bit, but they're trying to find these ways of moving forward without changing, of having like just, the best of both worlds, let's just say. They're not actually surrendering to the process. They're not actually pursuing bettering themselves. They're like, okay, well, how can I make this work without changing? How can I basically remain who I am here now and still achieve all this and still be a better person, et cetera, et cetera. And again, that's a pursuit that leads nowhere and that fucks you up. So be very aware of this. Now that you can better yourself, now that you know about self-actualization, you're fucked. There is no going back. And this will also create a lot of motivation once you really sit down and reflect upon it. Like, as human beings, we're gonna do something when we don't have a fucking choice. And here, you don't have a choice. And the sooner you realize that, the sooner you come to terms with that, the sooner you're gonna start taking action instead of dabbling around and, pursuing this endless, like false goal of, again, trying to remain the same and still making it work. You can't. So that's the first one. The second one is looking for a new magical, magic pill type of way of going about it. You may understand, like, okay, I'm gonna have to change who I am. I can't pursue this goal of trying to remain the same. But I'm sure there's this secret way that people really haven't discovered yet, or the people are keeping a secret from me, that'll get me there a lot faster. And you resist actually doing anything because all your efforts are into finding this new magical way. This is actually what drives a lot of people to buy information products. It's like, oh, I'm gonna look up all these products and I'm looking for this secret magical way, but guess what? Being very realistic, there is none. Okay, it's not about finding the magic pill or again the secret way that people are keeping from you. It's about just finding the right way. Okay, and the right way is out there. That's what you should be focusing on. Okay, and it's not going to blow you away. It's not like there's all these different ways of going about it and you're looking for this new way here. It's pretty much finding someone who's going to tell you it's this. You're like, oh, okay, now it's this. Oh, okay, now it's this. And the third one is looking for shortcuts. Okay, and this is something that we all do. If it's not a new magical way, we're like, okay, I guess we'll follow the way that people tell us to follow. But there must be some little shortcuts here and there, and you just waste all this time looking for shortcuts instead of just, once again, surrendering to the fucking process. Okay, and what you have to realize with shortcuts is that although you may find some, there are shortcuts, yeah, they're not sustainable and they will come and bite you in the ass. Okay, this is something that I've personally learned in success with women. A very common shortcut is drinking. You're very socially awkward and shy. You just start drinking, now you can talk to people. But then guess what? You start depending on the alcohol. You start developing tolerance for the alcohol, and then you reach a situation where not only do you have to drink to have access to this outgoing, fun personality, like a lot of guys, even before dates, they have to drink to feel confident. They haven't developed that core confidence. You become progressively desensitized to how much you drink, and then to have the same effect of just feeling at ease, you end up completely drunk. Okay, so it works for a little bit, but it bites you in the ass. And one thing that I told myself there is like, what? If I'm not building something on a solid foundation, fuck it. Okay, progress is very slow. Okay, and what comes fast leaves fast. Okay, and take my word for it, it's the same in fucking business. Don't look for shortcuts. Okay, it's a complete waste of time. So to conclude this here, okay, and really think about this and ask yourself, what are you pursuing? You may be thinking you're pursuing, again, like bettering yourself as a person, but in reality, okay, you're pursuing different ways of remaining the same and feeling good about yourself. You're pursuing maybe this new way of going about things, the new magic pill, magical way, or you're pursuing different shortcuts. Okay, and funny enough, the sooner you can let go of all of that and really, once again, just fucking surrender to this and do it the right way. Okay, the slow, very like non-flashy, just very like just step by step, like repetition of the fucking foundational things. The sooner you will, start changing, the sooner you will start bettering yourself, and you won't be wasting time again on those little false pursuits. Okay, so I hope this really hit you on some level. Okay, reflect on it, and as always, until next time. And one last thing as well, okay, just to add a little bit more context to this, this whole concept, okay, is actually something that I started noticing, in myself throughout my journey and in a lot of my clients, but a lot of it was just inspired by the questions that I get. I run these seminars pretty much daily, and most questions, a good 80 to 90% of them, you can trace them back to one of these three goals. Okay, it's like a lot of people, they're asking questions, trying to find ways not to change. It's like, oh, I'm pretty introverted. It's like, how do I make that work? It's like, you don't, you transcend that shit. Or, oh, like what's the way that, what's this new way? Do you have any new techniques? Like, where's the new content? Looking for that new magical way of going about it. Or, oh, how do I get there really fast? Like what are the shortcuts? And as I mentioned throughout this video, it's like the sooner you can kind of step away from that, and you can really, really notice it in yourself, depending on whatever question you have, what place is it coming from? Is it trying to accomplish one of those three things? Or are you actually just gonna surrender to the fucking process and do this? Do it the right way, okay? And once again, the sooner you do it, the fucking better.